What's up YouTube team, it's Episode09 here on the No Limit YouTube channel page for this week's Deck Doctor segment. This week we will be covering OfficialPsykotic's Koa'ki Meiru deck. The whole Koa'ki Meiru Fire Fist thing's always been kind of a little cool deck that I've always seen played here and there. So I figured it'd be something cool to cover. So yeah, let's just kind of get into his build, then we'll get into the fixed build and explain some of the changes. There weren't very many, so it should be kind of quick. So starting off with the monsters, we have 3 Koa'ki Meiru Earn Knight, 3 Koa'ki Meiru Crusader, 1 Traptrix Diania, 1 Coach Soldier Wolfbark, 2 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, 2 Traptrix Meiru, 2 Fire Hand, and 2 Ice Hand. Spells, we have 2 Iron Core of Koa'ki Meiru, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Soul Charge, 3 Diamond Core of Koa'ki Meiru. For those of you who do not know what this card does, it was recently released, I think 1 or 2 sets ago. It's a normal spell card. Add 1 Koa'ki Meiru card from your deck to your hand except Diamond Core of Koa'ki Meiru. You can banish this card from your graveyard. This turn, Koa'ki Meiru monsters you control cannot be destroyed. Period. It doesn't say just by battle or by card effects, it's just destroyed, which is really good. Continuing on, we have 2 Potted Duality, 1 Book of Moon, 1 Forbidden Chalice, 2 Forbidden Lance, 1 Fire Formation Tensu, and 3 Fire Formation Tenki. For the traps, we have 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, 2 Dimensional Prisons, 2 Breakthrough Skills, and 1 Solemn Warning. For the extra deck, we have 1 Bujintei Kagutsuchi, 1 Karen Gorgon Anti-Illuminescent Knight, 1 number 103 Ragna Zero, 2 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King, 1 number 50 Black Ship of Corn, 1 number 101 Silent Honor Arc, 1 number 82 Heartland Draco, 1 Diamond Dire Wolf, 1 Evil Swarm Exciting Knight, 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Cardinal, 1 Evil Swarm Daigusto Emerald. I'm still stuck on Exciting Knight for some fucking reason. Anyways, continuing on, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Gaga Cowboy, and 1 number 80 Rhapsody and Berserk. So that's his build. Let's just get into the fixed build and cover that, and then we'll go over the changes. So starting off with the monsters, we have 3 Koa'ki Meiru Earn Knight, 3 Koa'ki Meiru Crusader, 1 Koa'ki Meiru Ice, 1 Traptrix Diania, 1 Coach Soldier Wolfbark, 2 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, 2 Traptrix Meiru, and 1 Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Gorilla. For the spells, we have 2 Iron Core of Koa'ki Meiru, 1 Soul Charge, 3 Diamond Core of Koa'ki Meiru, 1 Book of Moon, 2 Forbidden Chalice, 2 Forbidden Lance, 1 Fire Formation Tensu, 3 Fire Formation Tenki. For the traps, we have 1 Time Space Trap Hole, 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, 2 Dimensional Prisons, 2 Breakthrough Skills, 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, 2 Wiretap, and 1 Solemn Warning. Extra deck, we haven't changed this at all, so I'm not going to really kind of go over it. It's exactly the same as the initial build. I didn't find myself needing to change anything for the extra deck, at least for the time being. In testing, it's played pretty well for me as it is. So the extra deck does, if you want to adjust it, or if you find yourself actually needing some adjustments in it, you're more than welcome to message me with what you think your problem with your extra deck is, and we can kind of work on it. Otherwise, it does seem solid enough as it is. So just kind of wanted to put that out there. So for the changes that we made to the main deck, the things that we dropped the 2 Fire Hand and the 2 Ice Hand out of the monsters, and for the spells we dropped the 1 Dark Hole and 2 Potted Duality. This deck filters through itself pretty well, having Bear to search out your Tenki and Tenki to search out your Bear, as well as your Earn Knight and your Crusader is kind of a thing, not to mention Gorilla as well. Having Diamond Core to search out your Earn Knight, your Crusader, and your Koa'ki Meiru Ice, as well as the Iron Core, depending on what your situation is always a nice thing to have as well. So, I mean, there's that. I also kind of forgot to mention that there's also Wolfbark for Tenki, so, I mean, there's that. So, the fact that the deck has a lot of a lot of stuff to tutor through the deck, it's kind of something that I don't really see all that necessary. Usually you want to kind of get into something like the Iron Core, Earn Knight, Tenki to either get your Bear if you find yourself needing it for a certain situation, or the Earn Knight if you don't have the Diamond Core to get to it and you already have the Iron Core in your hand, stuff like that. So I mean, in testing, I never found myself needing duality. I always drew decent cards to go with the search stuff to get me the stuff that I needed to get going, if that makes much sense. Like I would have either the Diamond Core, the Tenki, or I'd have the monster or the cards that I need to search out off of those cards already in hand, and then I'd have some other defensive stuff that I could either set or use to go off. So I never really found myself actually needing the dualities when it came to testing the fixed build. Dark Hole is something that I don't recommend dropping entirely. It's just something that I feel like you might want to put in the side deck if you find it still necessary. It's one of those cards that you really, I honestly just don't like playing it at the moment, just because of, at least in the main deck, because of Shadalls. I don't like the idea of triggering their effects and whatnot. But I mean, for like other decks, like if you find yourself not playing against them, you can side it in game 2 and 3 and have it just to have it. But that's personal preference. If you find yourself still wanting that in your main deck, then I mean, you can probably find room for it still. I mean, if you don't like the double chalice, you can go back to the one and then add not the duality, the dark hole. So I mean, there's that. Fire and Ice Hand. Personally, I haven't really seen this in very many of the whole Koa'ki Meiru Fire Fist decks. It's usually been things like Max C's and stuff like that. In testing, it wasn't bad per se. It's just that I found myself like I saw that you didn't have Koa'ki Meiru Ice, and for those who do not know what it does, during each of your end phases you destroy it unless you either send an Iron Core from your hand to the graveyard or you reveal a continuous spell card, and as many times as you want, it doesn't say once per turn, you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard to destroy a special summon monster on the field. So the fact that you can reveal the Fire Formation cards to kind of keep it on board if you happen to have them in your hand, kind of nice to keep it on board. It's a 1900 beat stick, and it can destroy a whole bunch of special summon monsters for each card that you decide that you want to send from your hand to the graveyard. So it's a really solid card. But I mean, like, there's that. It's a good monster to kind of play in over one of the hands, searchable off of the Diamond Core, and it's not, again, it's big, it's 1900, and it's capable of just getting some threatening monsters off the board as well. So it's just really nice to have. And then we also added in Gorilla, which Gorilla is just, okay, I attack into something, I get a free Fire Formation, or if I already have a Fire Formation, I can send that card to the graveyard to destroy a spell or trap card, which is always kind of nice to have. And in testing, it's actually played really nicely, even in the Shadal matchup. Just attacking over their Shadal, as long as it wasn't something like Dragon or Squamata. I think those are the two that affect your monsters on board. Yeah, it's usually fine. So I mean, I don't know. Like in testing, like the Gorilla and the Ice have played very well in place of the missing hands. So there's that. Not to mention that we also used the space that we got from the hands to add in some more spells and traps. Those being another Forbidden Chalice. We also added in the Time Space Trap Hole. We also added in Compulsory and the 2 Wiretaps. Wiretaps just overall that solid good card to counter trap cards that would otherwise mess up your current play, whether you're making a big push or you're just trying to get something on board. Compulsory is easily one of the best trap cards in the game right now. Chainable, you can put Midrash and anything else that you really want to back into their extra deck or into their hand and set them back a bit, which is always just a really nice thing to have. Time Space Trap Hole is another card that you can search off of Meiru Melio, not to mention you can use it against things like Midrash. And if you decide to continue playing this even as we go into basically a Cleafor or a Cleapoth or whatever you really want to call them, whenever we go into such a format like that, it's going to be a really good card for that matchup as well. So it's something to kind of consider. If you don't like it now, it's something to definitely consider for later down the line. So there's that. I don't know if I really need to explain too much else. Like I said, the extra deck was kind of, it was already solid enough as is. During playtesting, I never found myself like asking why am I not playing this card, or well, if I had this card I could win or whatever. Like I never found myself doing that. So the extra deck's pretty solid. I've had no troubles with it at all. As for the main deck, the initial build is pretty solid as it is, so it's a really nice deck, and the fixed build plays really nice for me as well. Personally, for me, the fixed build does play better, but both decks are very nice. It's nice to see people playing Koa'ki Meiru. It's a deck that I fell in love with this deck when it first came out, and I'm glad that it not only got some more support, but people are still playing it. So yeah, I don't know if I really need to explain anything else. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or message us and ask us about it. like I said, if you have any questions, just do that. If you have a deck that you want to have fixed, be sure to message it here on the No Limit YouTube channel by going to our channel page, going to the About section, and clicking Send Message. And yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to do it. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is Team 709 signing out.